Welcome to your Unit 3 set of videos. Make sure you know exactly what you need to do for this video, and let's go ahead and get started. Unit 3 videos. You're gonna learn about the post-classical era. Yeah! Alrighty, so we are starting off Unit 3, video number 1. And our topic for today is a man named Muhammad and the rise of Islam. So for our objectives today, number 1, our unit theme question, how did post-classical civilizations gain, consolidate, maintain, and lose power? What were the origins of Islam around the 600s? And then finally, how would Islam affect future empires? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, my friends. So for today, we're going to go ahead and look at a man named Muhammad and the rise of this new religion that was kind of being erected around the 500s, 600 CE called Islam. Hello? There we go. So an overview of it all. So around 600 CE, a new monotheistic religion began called Islam. The faith was founded by the Prophet Muhammad, and his followers, called Muslims, spread Islam throughout the Middle East, Africa, Asia, and Europe. And by 750 CE, Muslim leaders built this ginormous empire using this faith right here. Muslim scholars focused on learning and developed numerous cultural achievements that are still used to this day. The Islamic Empire connected diverse people through religion and trade. So looking at an overview of Islam, once again. So today, Islam is the world's fastest growing religion with more than 1 billion followers all throughout the world. And as you can see here, this is pretty outdated, 6 years old, but you can see the majority of the Muslim population is in fact in Northern Africa, yes, as well as the Middle East, but you also see this very nice chunk in Southeast Asia as well. So what was this area like before Islam came into existence? And Islam primarily started in the current day Saudi Arabia area. So the Arabian Peninsula is a desert region with little fertile soil for farming. Most Arabs lived in desert tribes, which were centered around families and were ruled by clans. Arabia was not united underneath a single government during this time. There's actually multiple different clan systems in this area. But interestingly enough, even though they weren't united by a single government, these individuals still had a common language that they spoke. So even though they didn't succumb to the same rules and the same rules, governments, they still had the exact same language so they could talk with one another and trade and communicate, whatever. And most of Arabs during this time were polytheistic. But we're going to see how they turned monotheistic. All right. Oh no, let me move myself just a little bit further. Awesome. So Arabia was in the intersection of 3 continents, aka they were at, the very center of 3 different areas. You have Africa right next door, Asia right next door, and Europe up to the north. So it was an important region for trade and cultural diffusion of ideas. And diffusion, just so you know, it's the spread of, and here it's the spread of ideas. So one of the wealthiest trade cities in Arabia during this time was a place called Mecca. And Mecca was also a very religious city for the polytheistics that were living there. They built this cube or kebab, I believe that's how you pronounce that, which was a cube, and it still exists to this day, but it holds different things, which held statues of hundreds of the polytheistic gods that were being worshipped in this area, which is really cool. And Arabs made pilgrimages to Mecca to visit this queue. And even to this day, Arabs still have to complete this pilgrimage sometime throughout their life. So let's look at who this person, Muhammad, was. So Muhammad was born in this city, right, of Mecca in 570, and he was born into a pretty poor clan. He was orphaned at a young age and raised by his grandparents. As an adult, he became an honest and a very successful merchant. He married a wealthy widow, and they started a family together. Muhammad's work brought him into contact with Jewish and Christian merchants. So in 610, Muhammad was told by the angel Gabriel as he was walking into the desert that he was the prophet sent to earth by God. He was the last prophet. And upon receiving this news, Muhammad's like, well, I have to spread his word out. I have to tell everyone what I just witnessed. So he began preaching a new monotheistic faith called Islam. And Islam means surrender to God. So looking at the basic concepts and reactions towards Islam. So followers of Islam are called Muslims who believe in one God. They believe in Allah. Allah is the exact same God worshipped by the Jews and by the Christians, but they worship different sections, different prophets, and in different ways. Muslims believe Muhammad was the last of God's prophets. The teachings of Muhammad were written down in a book called the Quran, and it can be spelled with a Q or a K. They're the exact same thing. And this is the holy book of Muslims. By 613, Muhammad began preaching his new ideas in Mecca, and some people were attracted to this new faith. Many people feared, however, Muhammad's growing popularity and that Mecca would soon lose its status as being a holy polytheistic city. After years of attacks, Muhammad and his followers fled to a nearby city or town called Medina, which on this map right here, you see that it is north of Mecca. This migration, and I'm going to butcher this and I'm so sorry, this migration was known as Hijra. In Medina, Muhammad gained new converts who put Islam above their family, above their clans. Their religion was absolute on top. He taught respect for Christians and Jews, calling them the people of the book, meaning that Christianity, Judaism, and Islam all practice and all believe in the exact same God. They all have a single text that states the teachings of God, but how they receive those teachings and how they practice them, that's the key difference here. In 630, Muhammad returned to Mecca with 10,000 troops and conquered the city. He destroyed the statues, the god statues in the Kaaba, leaving only the statue for Allah, or God. This time, the people in Mecca converted to Islam, but then unfortunately 2 years later, Muhammad did die. After Muhammad, Islamic leaders created an empire. The Islamic Empire was had a well-trained troop that conquered nearby regions to the point where it looks like these two maps shown here for you. The massive empire led to great wealth for Muslims and new opportunities to spread Islam. And that's where we're going to end it for today. So, what do we learn? 1. In terms of the Islamic Empire, there were able to be created by the Islamic religion. The origins of Islam were around the Prophet Muhammad and his teachings or interpretations from Allah or God through the Quran. And the last part, I want you to think about that, right? How do you think Islam affected future empires? Because we are going to be looking at that later on in our unit. Congratulations, you are done with this video. Once again, make sure you understand exactly what you need to do for it, and have a fantastic day.